Guys, there is a lot to get excited about for 2024. So today, I'm going over the most anticipated collaborations for this year. Starting from this will be hyped to this collaboration is so massive, it's probably gonna be collaboration of the year. And kicking us off, we've got Clot and Adidas. If you guys didn't know, Clot has been working with Nike for a very long time. I mean, Nike and Clot created some of the most hyped sneakers that we know today. Right at the end of the year, Edison Chen, who is the founder of Clot, just got snatched up by Adidas. I'm not gonna lie, the stuff that we've already seen of this upcoming collaboration is, it's pretty wild. They got some very interesting takes on like the Adidas Superstar. They're even making some different versions of a dress shoe. All of this stuff generally seems like a pretty big departure from stuff that you would normally find from Adidas. In terms of a release date for this collaboration, since it was announced back in 2023, I would imagine they actually dropped the first products or the first collection in the first quarter of 2024. It's gonna be a lot more than just sneakers and shoes as part of this collaboration. There's a bunch of different clothing items as well, a full-on collection. I don't think it's going to be insane in terms of hype, at least not straight off of the bat, just because most of the silhouettes are so different from what typically people would wear. Right, next up we have another Adidas collaboration, and of course that is with Fear of God. So as we all know by now, the first delivery of this partnership was a little bit disappointing, and that was kind of echoed throughout for most people. I mean, the hype was definitely there because this collaboration was announced back in 2020, so people had 3 years of built-up anticipation for it to finally drop. I think that the sneakers were the best part of this entire first delivery, and as for what's coming in 2024, well, we've got a bunch of leaks of new sneakers that I think are pretty exciting. New boots, new performance basketball models, new lifestyle low-top sneakers. In regards to the price, which was a huge pain point for a lot of people with the first collection, well, apparently according to Jerry Lorenzo, that's something that they're specifically trying to lower down. But I think if they do end up bringing the price down on a lot of the clothing especially, I think that could definitely make people a lot more interested in this collaboration. In terms of an exact release date for this, we're not entirely sure. I would expect within the first quarter of 2024. However, they took so long to get us this first delivery that, yeah, who knows. All right, moving away from Adidas collaborations for a minute. Next up, we got Nike and Sakai. This is a collaboration that I personally hope produces some absolute bangers. I mean, Sakai and Nike have created some of the wildest and interesting looking sneakers, but at the same time also incredibly hyped pairs. Of course, I'm talking about the LD waffle and the Vapor waffle. Now, more recently and throughout 2023, a lot of the collaborations were just pretty okay. So what do we have planned for 2024? Well, as of right now, we know of at least 2 different colorways of the Vapor waffle that's going to be dropping this year. I expect that there's going to be more colorways to go along with those and plenty of other new models. Then we got a more up in the air collaboration next, and of course I'm talking about Adidas and Yeezy. So as we all know, 2023 was a massive year for Adidas because they finally decided to actually take the leap and drop some of the Yeezy sneakers that they had sat around in their warehouse. I mean, Adidas had over $1 billion of Yeezys in their inventory, just sat around piling up in their warehouses. Now, they did end up dropping quite a lot. We had a couple different waves of just tons of Yeezy sneakers littered throughout each month. However, they were planning their next big Yeezy drop in November of last year. However, they decided to put it on hold. So as of right now, basically the situation is Adidas is trying to decide whether to write off all of the existing inventory, which I think currently is just under $500 million worth, or whether they're going to continue releasing them here in 2024. Now, if Adidas does decide to release some of these Yeezy sneakers, the majority of them will just be restocked pairs that we've already had in the past. However, some of the new stuff will include new colorways of the Yeezy 500. We've got the Sand Tactical boot and a ton of new Yeezy slides and foam runners. There is also a rumor of the Yeezy 750 coming back. However, we don't know if there's any weight to that rumor. I do think that it's going to be a better decision if Adidas does decide to release these things so people who do want them can buy them rather than just sending them all off to the incinerator and writing them off. Either way, I expect we get a ton more information very soon. Alright, next up, we're talking about a collaboration that really got people shook in 2023. And that is Cortez and Nike. So last year, to pretty much everyone's surprise, Cortez and Nike decided to team up and drop 3 different colorways of the Air Max 95. This sneaker actually became a lot of people's choice for sneaker of the year. Now, as for what they're going to be doing this year in 2024, there's not a ton of information. However, we do have one confirmed sneaker model, and that is the Nike Trainer Huarache. These should be dropping around the fall time. We don't have any actual images of what this pair of shoes is going to look like. However, I imagine it stays relatively true to the Air Trainer Huarache. I think this collaboration has a lot of potential. People are clearly interested in it, and if they can produce on this hype, I think it could be one of the biggest collaborations of this year. Right, next up we got a big one. However, it could be pretty messy. Amar, Maniere, and Jordan Brand. So far, we've had some incredible sneakers from this collaborations with the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, oh, and more recently the 5s. All of these had great success. So what are they planning to do here in 2024? Well, actually, they're going to be revisiting some of the most popular sneaker models that they worked on, the Jordan 3 and the Jordan 4. And they also do have some 17 lows that should be dropping at some point this year, but I think we all know the main hype factor is going to be on the 3s and the 4s. We already have some mock-up images of what both the 3s and the 4s are supposed to look like, and hey, if they come out exactly like these mock-ups, I will be incredibly hyped because these things look incredible. Right now, both the 3s and the 4s are expected to drop 2024 during the fall time, and I'm sure we're going to get some actual images of the sneakers relatively soon. Both pairs are expected to come in women's sizing, however, it's going to be extended, so it really doesn't matter. It's just a label. Anybody can wear these things. They did the exact same thing with the 3s. That was a woman's shoe, however, had extended sizing as well. But where this collaboration gets a little bit messy is because James Whitner, who is the owner of Amar, Maniere, and Social Status and a bunch of others, part of the Whitaker group, he was actually accused of being part of a $32 million money laundering scheme. Now, this is a pretty massive deal for the sneaker community. There's a lot to this story. I actually went over it on Sneaky Sundays a couple weeks back. But all you need to know is, as of right now, he hasn't been charged with anything, and he's denying all of it and saying that it's all unfounded. We'll have to see how this story develops, because if there is any more information that pins him to this collaboration is as good as dead. Next up, we got J Balvin and Jordan Brand. That's right. So J Balvin, after dropping some of the wildest looking Jordan 1s and Jordan 2s in like history, he really pulled things back with the Jordan 3. These things look way different to both the 1s and the 2s, a lot more toned down, neutral colors, and are just absolutely a phenomenal sneaker. I mean, the Jordan 3s were definitely one of the best sneakers to drop in 2023. So what has he got planned with Jordan Brand for 2024? Well, he mentioned that he now wants to work on a pair of Jordan 4s to kind of complete the pack. He's done a 1, a 2, a 3, and he obviously wants to do a 4. But as of right now, there's nothing confirmed about that. What is confirmed is a second colorway of the Jordan 3, the Rio colorway. Now, the 3s should be dropping during the summertime this year, so it gives him plenty of time to bring us some new models for the rest of the year. I want to run through a couple honorable mentions real quick, starting with the Salehe Bembury Crocs collab. This one I wanted to mention specifically for the sneakers that they have upcoming. We've already seen the clog style shoes, we've already seen the slide, a brand new sneaker which actually looks pretty interesting. I'm pretty hyped for that. Action Bronson and New Balance had a pretty solid year in 2023. I can't say that 2024 is gonna be better, but at least they look very interesting. And then finally, the Futura Nike SB Dunk Low is apparently supposed to be dropping here in 2024. Now, I fully understand that if these things did drop, it would be like some of the most hyped up sneakers that dropped this entire year, but I have my doubts. We just haven't seen too much from this, although the leaks seem pretty strong and we already have a look at the pair of shoes. I will say that Futura mentioned themselves that it's supposed to be a general release, but we'll put that in quotation marks and just let's see how this year pans out. All right, up next is one of the most unique and creative collaborators that Nike currently has, and that is Cactus Plant Flea Market. CPFM and Nike have not only come up with some of the wildest looking shoes in the past, but they've also created some of the most hyped sneakers in history. Last year they did the Air Flea 2s, which definitely had some people absolutely love them and some people absolutely hate them. I tend to actually like them. Now this year I'm sure they're going to be cooking up some madness, but we do actually have 2 pairs of shoes that they are confirmed to be dropping this year, and that is actually a return of something that they did in 2020. I'm talking about both the white and the black Air Force One Low. So both of these should be returning 2024 during the summertime, and it's definitely the most understated collaboration that CPFM and Nike have ever done. But they were also some of the most attainable pairs, and obviously something that pretty much anybody could wear. All right, next up we got a little bit of a weird one, because I guess you could kind of debate whether it's a collaboration or not, and that is Jordan and Nike SB. But yes, clearly this was one of the biggest sneakers to release last year. Jordan Brand teaming up with Nike SB. Some of the most hyped sneakers are produced by both of these divisions of Nike. And as of right now, we don't really have too much at what they're going to be doing this year. There was a rumor that there was going to be a blue sapphire colorway of the Jordan 4 Nike SB, and that would kind of be very similar to the pine green pair that we already got. But at the same time, that rumor could have also been mistaken for the military blue 4s that are supposed to be confirmed to drop this year. All we know is that Nike and Jordan Brand are definitely not known for leaving money on the table, so considering how successful successful the first Jordan 4 Nike SB collaboration was, I'm sure they're already cooking up a next version. I think one of the first rumored pairs from this collab was supposed to be a Black Cat version of the 4s, so those could potentially release, but we'll have to wait and see. And finally, we got the king of collaborations, the absolute monster when it comes to hype, Travis Scott. Travis Scott and Jordan Brand here in 2024 might just end up having one of the biggest years for this collaboration to date. There is a ton that's going to be dropping this year. So some of the rumored collaborations that we haven't actually seen yet are like the Jordan 3s. Apparently there's going to be another Nike SB Dunk Low and a pair of Jordan 7s. And then there's all of the collaborations that we do know of and we have seen, including 2 pairs of Jordan 1 lows, one colorway looking more familiar than the other one, which is actually very different. And of course, we've got the all-new silhouette called the Jumpman Jack, which is Travis Scott's first ever signature sneaker. Now, we've seen so many different colorways of this Jumpman Jack sneaker, including different versions like the Sharkadong pair. So yeah, this year is looking absolutely stacked for Travis Scott collaborations, and people are definitely here for it. This is still by far the most successful and most hyped collaboration Nike and Jordan Brand have. There's the list. I want to hear from you. Let me know down in the comment section, what is your most anticipated collab that you hope to see this year?